Let's go to other portions of Miller's press conference. In the next video, you will see him responding to Jim Acosta. This is where things get super snippy, and it's over the Statue of Liberty. Let's go to video 7.
What you're proposing, or what the president is proposing here, does not sound like it's in keeping with American tradition when it comes to immigration. The Statue of Liberty says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free." It doesn't say anything about speaking English or being able to be a computer programmer. Aren't you trying to change what it means to be an immigrant coming into this country? If you're telling them you have to speak English, can't people learn how to speak English when they get here?
Well, first of all, right now, it's a requirement that to be naturalized, you have to speak English. So the notion that speaking English wouldn't be a part of our immigration systems would be actually very ahistorical. Secondly, I don't want to get off into a whole thing about history here, but the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of liberty enlightening the world. It's a symbol of American liberty lighting the world. The poem that you're referring to that was added later is not actually part of the original Statue of Liberty, but more fundamentally, the history, more fundamentally,
you're saying that
history,
that does not represent.
I'm saying that the notion. I'm saying the notion that
I'm saying the notion. I'm sorry.
No,
that sounds
Jim,
like,
let me ask you a question.
That sounds like some national park revisionism.
No,
the Statue of Liberty has always been a beacon of hope to the world for people to send their people to this country, and they're not always going to speak English, Stephen. They're not always going to be highly skilled. They're not always going to be.
Jim, I appreciate your speech. Jim, I appreciate your speech.
So but Jim Acosta is exactly right about revisionism there, right? So all of a sudden the Statue of Liberty is not a beacon to the world. What? Of course it is. That's the whole point. That light is kind of pointing in the other direction. It's for America. It's okay. But no, we put it out in front of New York to welcome immigrants in. Trying to do historical revisionism on that is amazing. And the poem that you've all heard about, "Give me your poor, your tired," that Jim Acosta quoted in part, you should read the whole poem. It's amazing and it's wonderful, and it's what the core of this country is. Well, it's just a poem. I mean, really? We're talking about poems now? No, no. It said, "Give me your rich, your computer programmers, and other people connected to rich donors. And everyone else that might vote Democratic, we vote no." If we apply that standard to the Italians that were coming in, the Irish that were coming in, the Jews that were coming in, the Polish, all those guys, right? And by the way, if you're in those categories, and it doesn't have to be any of those racial or ethnic categories, but people who came in 2 generations ago, come on, man, support your fellow Americans. You just went through it. So stand up and say, hey, when it's someone else, I want them to have the same chance that I had, my family had, my grandparents had. So if you're in that category, let's fight together, man, because they're trying to destroy the idea of America there. It isn't just for the rich, it's for all of us.
Yeah, and since we're talking about this country only being open to the rich under the Trump administration, I mean, they do practice what they preach in that regard. I mean, they're not upset at Kushner Properties going to China and asking for $500,000 in investments in US properties just so they can get that golden visa. They have no problem with that, right? And think about how that actually does harm Americans, because as I've said time and time again, it artificially inflates the housing market to the point where people earning a decent living here in the US can't even afford to buy homes or apartments or condos. That's what's happening. And so if you want to talk about real issues, those are the real issues that should be discussed. But of course, we have wealthy people in power right now that just take advantage of their position of power to make more money. They use it to their advantage. One final video from this press conference, because Jim Acosta was just really heated, and I love it. So in this next one, Miller attempts to flip things around on Acosta. You decide for yourselves whether it worked.
This whole notion of, well, they could learn, they have to learn English before they get to the United States. Are we just going to bring in people from Great Britain and Australia?
Jim, I have to honestly say, I am shocked at your statement that you think that only people from Great Britain and Australia would know English. It reveals your cosmopolitan bias to a shocking degree that in your mind, this is an amazing moment. That you think only people from Great Britain or Australia would speak English is so insulting to millions of hardworking immigrants who do speak English from all over the world. Jim, have you honestly never met an immigrant from another country who speaks English outside of Great Britain and Australia? Is that your personal experience?
Of course, there are people who come.
But that's not what you said, and it shows your cosmopolitan bias. And I just want to say,
it sounds like you're trying to engineer the racial and ethnic flow of people into this country.
Jim, that is one of the most outrageous, insulting, ignorant, and foolish things you've ever said. And for you, that's still a really the notion that you think that this is a racist bill is so wrong and so insulting.
Wow.
How could you possibly think that? Look, so let's just break down Stephen Miller's argument for 1 second.
You just have a cosmopolitan bias.
Oh, well, of course I do. So now, is it true that a person who comes into the country from China or maybe even Turkey can speak English before they get here? Of course, but that's not what Acosta is saying. What he's saying is you're giving a much bigger advantage proportionally to people whose native language is already English. So British, Irish, Australian, Canadian, etc. Now, of course, there is some percentage of people who come over from China or Africa that already speak English, or Latin America, but it is a lower percentage of their population who would qualify with that standard. And by the way, it would have knocked out Acosta's lineage probably, and probably Stephen Miller's lineage. So when they came over, they spoke Italian or Yiddish, and we didn't say, oh no, that's it. Nope, grandma doesn't speak English. How the hell would you have spoken English coming from Sicily, right? And they figured it out because we're America. You get here, you roll up your sleeves and you go to work. And by the way, most of the people coming are coming for work. That's one of the complaints of the conservatives, like, oh, they're coming to take our jobs. So which one is it? Are they bums who have no skills and don't want to assimilate? Or are they working too hard? Make up your mind.
Also, I have to make a quick comment about this whole cosmopolitan bias thing that they keep bringing up over and over again. Okay, we're talking about an administration that's full to the brim of dudes who grew up and spent most of their time in New York. And then Stephen Miller himself grew up in Santa Monica, California. Like, really? I don't see you guys as like rural Americans that are looking out for the little guy.
And why would the rural American understand that they speak better English in China and Saudi Arabia than we think? Why is that a rural position?
It's just
why
so
is it a
weird.
Cosmopolitan position to say that, yeah, countries whose native language is English have a higher proportion of people who speak English? Why is that a cosmopolitan or a rural thing?
Yeah.
No, he just wants to say, oh, you're elitist. You know why he says that? Why he even brings that up? Because it's such a non sequitur. Why even bring it up? He's saying you're insulting the rural people who we're trying to appeal to with this bill.
That's right.
Who don't like foreigners, and you're a cosmopolitan, so you don't mind foreigners. And then, so it's actually not Jim Acosta that's bringing race into it. It's Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is basically saying, like, we want to be anti-foreigner, and so you're not letting us make those racial decisions because in your cosmopolitan world, oh, everybody likes one another even though they're different.
I just want them to say it. I just want them to own up to who they are and what they believe, okay? It's not about looking out for Americans and American jobs. You don't care about that. Just say it. We don't like people from different backgrounds. We don't want it. We don't want Latinos, we don't want Asians unless they're really rich and can go ahead and invest $500,000 in Kushner's properties or Trump's properties. But other than that, like, we just don't like them. We don't like them. It's so frustrating because, again, they are pandering to Americans who do need help, who do need this economy to improve for them. But they're just exploiting them and using them to push their xenophobic policies that really have nothing to do with the economy whatsoever.
If you like this video, you probably like independent media. The best way to support independent media, become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.